Welcome student to the online class. This is physics class for students of class 12. So we have already completed the first chapter of electrostatic, that is electric charges and fields. There we have studied about the charge, the nature of the charge, the quantization property. We have studied various ways of calculating electric field. We have studied Gauss theorem. We have studied what do we mean by flux. So today we are going to start a new chapter. This chapter includes inside the electrostatic portion, it is electrostatic potential and capacitance. So we will study about the electric potential, and after that we will study the capacitance as well. What or how does electric potential takes an important role in capacitance. So let us start. So today we are going to start the chapter electrostatic potential and capacitance. So before we start the chapter, we should understand the concept of potential or the meaning of the word potential. As you can see in this diagram, we have kept an object. We can consider this height to be 0. Okay, so we have kept this object at a certain height, and at this certain height we are assuming that there is no potential. What does the word potential means? Sometimes we say that we use a general term that there is more potential of this machine to do the work, or you have more potential to do better. So the potential word is much more related. The potential word is related to the work done. If you do more work, you will have more potential to do better, right? So sometimes it's been written in your written as remarks in your report card that this children has potential to do better. That means if you do more work, if you work hard, you will gain more potential to do your work in a better way, right? So that means the word potential is related from the word work. So if we have to store potential energy in a system, we have studied about kinetic energy and we have studied about potential energy in lower classes. So how can we store potential energy in a system? By changing the position of the system, by displacing the object from one point to another point. And if we have to displace the object from one position to another position, we need to do some work. The work which we will be doing, that will store as potential energy in the system. That will produce potential energy in the potential in the system. Okay, so here as you can see that first of all it is kept at height h, or h equals to 0. So when it is kept at height h, we have assumed the potential of the object to be 0. That means no work has been done. Now when we are displacing it from height h to height h1, we are doing some work, right? We are lifting the object. So we are doing some work against the gravitational force. Okay, so some work is being done and some potential energy is being stored. UA equals to mg h1. This amount of potential energy has been stored in the system. Secondly, when we are displacing it to a greater height, more height than h1, that means h2 is much more in height than in h1. So much more work needs to be done. More work done means more potential will be stored. So that means this potential is greater than this potential. UB is greater than UA. Clear? And we can define UB as mgh2 because we are doing the work against the gravitational force. We are lifting the object upwards. Okay. Now, the word potential cannot be defined. If I say that you have this much of capability to do the work, but if you are the only person, and if I want to calculate, or if I want to tell your capability, then it needs to be compared with someone else's, right? If I want to compare potential of this object, then the potential of this object, or how much work has been done on this object, needs to be compared with another object. So generally we cannot define the word potential until and unless we compare it with some other potential. So that's why to do so, we have assumed this potential. Suppose it is at height h. It's not, the height h is not zero height. Okay, the height is h. But this height h is less than height h1 and h1 is less than height h2. So if I don't compare this potential or this height with this one, then how will I understand that h1 how much greater it is than height h, or h2 how much greater it is than h1? So I can define potential only when I compare it with someone or some other potential. So in this case I have done, or I have assumed, at this particular height I have assumed the object to have zero potential, right? So if this object is having zero potential, then I can say that this object is having potential UA equals to mgh1. So the meaning of the sentence is, whenever I want to find out the potential of any object, I need to compare it with some other object, right? If I consider this height to be the less height, or if I consider this height to be zero height, then only I can understand how much bigger is this one. Similarly, if I want to compare the potential between this one and this one, that means when the object is displaced from A to B, from height h1 it is being displaced to height h2. So that means I will compare the potential of this object, how much more work has been done to displace the object at position B from A. So I am comparing the potential of B, I am comparing the work done when it is being placed at position B with the work done when it was at position A. So the thing is, we can find out potential difference. We cannot find out potential of an object. The potential, the word potential always needs to get compared with some other object. Okay, so we can find out potential difference. We will also define potential. There is a way of defining potential also. But now we are defining potential in such a way that I have the object at position A. Now I am bringing it to position B. Remember one thing, the word potential cannot be defined alone. We can define potential difference, and for that we need to compare. Okay, so from here the body is being displaced here. So what is the change in energy? So we can mark this change in potential is del U, okay, equals to higher potential minus lower potential. Okay, higher potential means more work has been done to displace it to at a greater height than this one. So higher potential minus lower potential, or you can define it as final potential minus initial potential, right? Height h2 is more, so more work will be done, so more potential, right? So more potential minus less potential, final minus initial. Work which has been done to displace the object from A to B. Okay, now this work is being done on an object mass m, right? The change, the potential energy, we are doing some work and that work is being stored as potential energy in the system, but this work is being done upon the mass m. So we can say del U by m equals to G del H if we put all the values, because del U will come to be mg, if I take common this one and this one, mg h2 minus h1. So this can be written as mg del h. So mg del h divided by m, so will give you g del h. So the potential or the work done, this potential is your work done. So work done by mass defines the word potential difference, which is denoted by the letter V. Okay, this is denoted by the letter V. So V will give you the potential difference. Okay, this is potential energy which is equivalent to the work done, and this is your potential difference V. Clear? So this is a potential potential difference which we are defining for an object. Now in case of electrical potential, In case of electric potential, we will be doing work on a charge. Suppose I have a charge plus Q. Somewhere here I have this plus Q charge. And this plus Q charge is creating an electric field in this direction. It is creating an electric field. Now, what am I doing? I am bringing a test charge, right? Now to bring this test charge, I am doing work against this electrical or electrostatic force. So I am bringing a test charge, I am displacing the test charge from point A to point B. So some work has to be done in displacing it from point A to point B. When it is at point A, potential is less. When it has been displaced to point B, so more work needs to be done because electrical force is being acting, right? So when you are bringing the charge, test charge, more towards the positive charge, there will be more force of repulsion. So you are working against this repulsive force. So when you are bringing it more near to plus Q charge, more work has to be done. So more potential will be at point B. So we can define that as VB minus VA equals to work done. Okay, let us consider that W is the amount of work which has been done, or external force F which is acting on the body. Work done divided by Q naught. So this is the amount of potential difference. Now let us assume that this point A is at infinity. Instead of here we have taken a small distance from A to B, but let us assume that this point A is at infinity. This is the method of defining the word potential instead of potential difference. So we are placing this point A at infinity. Somewhere from infinity you are bringing the object, or sorry, you are bringing the test charge at B, right? So in this case, in the previous case, you see, when the object is at the lower height, we have assumed the potential to be 0, right? Similarly, this is something which we have make an assumption. Infinity means outside the electric field, okay? This plus Q charge will produce an electric field. So outside the electric field, when I am bringing the charge, so when the test charge Q naught is outside the electric field, from that particular point, means from infinity when I am bringing the charge, I consider or I assume the potential at infinity to be 0. Okay, if A is at infinity, then VA equals to 0. This is an assumption which we have done. This is a way of defining the word potential. So what are we doing? Okay, so this A lies at infinity, so VA equals to 0. So what are we, how will we describe it now? We are bringing the test charge from infinity to a certain point, and that is your potential. So that means if this becomes 0, I will get VB equals to W by Q naught, or I can say in general, I can write V equals to W by Q naught. So the work which is being done on a test charge to bring the test charge from infinity to a certain point in the electric field defines the potential. This V is known as the potential. So how do we define potential? I repeat, when work is being done on a test charge to bring the test charge from infinity to a certain point in the electric field, then the work which is being done on the test charge, or work done per unit test charge, is known as your potential, right? But if I say the word potential difference, that means when I am moving the object from point A to B, so point A to B, that means VB minus VA is your potential difference. But if one point is infinity, if you are bringing it from infinity to a certain point, then we will say potential. So work done on per unit test charge is your potential. Hope it's clear to you. So the unit will be joule per coulomb equals to 1 volt. So that means when 1 joule of work has been done on 1 coulomb, 1 joule of work done on 1 coulomb of charge to bring it from infinity to a certain point in the electric field, then the potential in the system is 1 volt. Now, let us consider, see, there is a definition of the electric potential. The potential at any point in the electric field is defined as the work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to that point, V equals to W by Q. So, if Q equals to 1 coulomb, then we can say V equals to W. That means potential is equals to the work done. Potential is equal to work done when we are taking a charge of 1 coulomb and we are moving the charge from infinity to a certain point. Okay, then we can say that your potential is completely equivalent to work done. Okay, let us proceed. Now, this potential, as you can understand, that it's a type of, we can define the word potential from the amount of work which has been done. So, work is a scalar quantity and hence potential is also a scalar quantity. So, while doing the numericals and derivations with electric field, we need to consider the direction of electric field. But here, it's a scalar quantity. So, while dealing with potential, we don't need to worry about the direction. Only magnitude is there. So, simple addition and simple subtraction according to your numerical. So, simple algebra is applicable in case of potential, right? So, V equals to joule per coulomb. Okay, now let us calculate the dimension of potential. V equals to W by Q. Now, W is what? Force into displacement. So, force is mL T to the power minus 2 into displacement is into L. So, I can write mL square T to the power minus 2. And I equals to, I know current equals to rate of change of charge. So, Q equals to IT. So, that can be written as AT. Right. So, what is the net dimension which we are getting? The net dimension will be m L square T to the power minus 3 A to the power minus 1 m L square T to the power minus 3 A to the power minus 1. This is the dimension of the potential. Now, whenever we are telling the word potential, the most important thing is we are doing some work and we are doing some work on a test charge. Now, this work done is an external work done for sure, right? See, if this is the test charge, suppose this is the source charge, right? So, the source charge will have its isolated positive charge, will have its electric field in this way. The electric field lines, they are radially outward. Now, when you are bringing another charge Q naught near to this, right? So, how can you store potential energy? You need to do some work. So, that work will be external work done. Okay. That means some external force is being applied. You are doing some work externally. Because this plus and this plus Q naught, they will have force of repulsion. This plus Q naught will move away and it will move in the direction of the electric field. Because this electric field will apply a force. We can say that this force is Fe, F electrostatic force. So, due to this force, this Q naught charge should move away from this source charge. But what is happening? We are forcefully doing some work. We are applying a work F external to move this Q naught from infinity or from one point to another point, right? So, we are applying force to displace. So, whenever we are saying that some work is being done, remember this work is external work. That means W external equals to F external if there is a displacement of dx, right? So, if external into dx. Okay, this is external force. Clear? This is something you should remember. This is external force. This external force is never You cannot write W external equals to Fe into dx. No, right? This is not the correct way. This walk external means you are applying an external force. Don't get yourself confused with this and this one. Next is external force is opposite in direction of the electric field. Yes, if you can see it from the diagram clearly, you are trying to displace the object from this point to this point. So you are moving in this direction, whereas electrical force is acting on the other direction. So both the forces, they have opposite directions. Clear? So we can say according to the direction, your Fe equals to minus F external force. They are oppositely directed to each other. Next is walk is independent of path. Yes, you displace the object in this way from point A to B, or if you displace it in this way, or if you displace it in some other way, that is not going to matter. The work done is independent. Okay? What is going to matter? It is being displaced from one position to another. That is the thing which is going to matter. How are you doing the work? In which way or which path you are doing the work? That is not important. And secondly, test charge is used to do the work. You know, why do we use a test charge? Because test charge, they have negligible magnitude. So that is not going to affect the electric field of the source charge. The test charge, they have negligible magnitude. That means the negligible electric field for a test charge. So when you are bringing a test charge in the field of a source charge, this test charge, they have no electric field of its own. So this electric field is not going to matter. This electric field, no variation of this electric field for the source charge will take place. So we are doing work on a test charge. Okay. Now we will study, we have understood what do we mean by the concept of the word potential. Now in electrical potential, we are doing work to bring a test charge from infinity to a certain point in the electric field. That means there should be a relation between field and potential. Okay, so we will derive this relation between field and potential. Now when I say the word potential, that means I am bringing the object, or rather in case of electrostatic, I am bringing a unit positive test charge Q naught from infinity to a certain point B. Okay, from infinity I am bringing the object to a certain point B. So what is my objective? From infinity up to this much, I cannot determine the length or anything. So I am considering from infinity to the certain point B. Within this, I am considering a small portion. I am considering a small portion from point A to point B, and I can write that this small portion or this small displacement is dx. This small length is dx. So I am going to move my test charge Q naught from point A to B. Okay, I have dx. Then what will I do? I will integrate, and then I can get it for the total length. Means here I have considered the displacement, a small elementary displacement between the path from infinity up to the source charge. Okay, then after doing all the calculations and everything, I will consider the point A to be at infinity. So I will get the net result, what is going to happen if I move the charge from infinity to a certain point B. So previously I am considering that I am having a small displacement dx. Clear? Okay. Now to do this, what I will do? I will apply an external force. I will do some work against the repulsive force. So let us consider that I am applying an external force, F external. Clear? To create a displacement dx. Okay. Now this plus charge, this is plus q charge. So this plus q charge, and this is the direction of electric field. This is the direction of force due to electrical force. So the force is being applied in the direction of electric field, and how much is the magnitude? Fe equals to QE, right? This is the magnitude. Now what are we going to do? We have to do work. And how will we do work? We will apply an external force, and we are going to apply, suppose if I apply an external force, just a high amount of external force is being applied, so there will be an acceleration caused in the body, but I don't want any acceleration to cause in my body. Think, is it easier for you to measure this external force? Is there any way of measuring the external force? How much force you need to apply? So what are we doing here? We are taking a Weiss method. We are using a Weiss method. We are considering that we are displacing the test charge very slowly in such a way that there is no acceleration. We are displacing the test charge very slowly from point A to B, or we are causing a displacement dx of the test charge very slowly, so that there will be no acceleration produced in the test charge. Okay, the velocity will be uniform. Now how can we do so? Our objective is to measure this external force. Now there is no way or no method to us to measure this external force. We know the direction is opposite, but how can we measure the magnitude of this external force? Right? So, and see, there is a repulsive force which is acting as well. So we cannot move this object very fast. What are we going to do? We want to move this object very slowly in such a way that there will be no acceleration produced in the body. So if F external, suppose this is the test charge Q naught, I am drawing it here separately. If this is the test charge Q naught, this Q naught, due to the source charge, it tends to move away from the source charge, right? But I want to move this test charge in this direction. I want to cause a displacement dx. I want to move it from point A to B. Okay, I want to cause a displacement dx. So what should I do? And I need to measure how much is my external force which is being done. I want to move this object uniformly. I want the net resulting force in this object to be 0. So in that case, the object will move uniformly through it. So I will apply a force equal in magnitude to this force, but in opposite direction. Understood? So I will apply a force QE in the other direction. Clear? This will be Q naught. Okay, Q naught is, which is the force which is being acting on this test charge, which is moving it in the direction of electric field. Now I don't want any acceleration to take place here. So what will I do? I will take this, I will place the test charge here, and I will move it slowly in such a way with a force equal in magnitude with this electrostatic force. So two forces equal in magnitude, but they are opposite to each other. So net resulting force on this test charge will be 0. That means no acceleration will be produced in this test charge, and my external work done will create a uniform velocity, will create a uniform motion to displace this test charge. So hence I get to measure my external force. So that's why I told you, remember, that this work done is your external work done. This work done is not, external work done means what? External force. So the force is not your electrostatic force. Don't multiply while calculating your work done. Don't take electrostatic force and the displacement which is being caused by you. Okay. This is your external force into the displacement which is caused by you. Clear? So in this way, it's a clever method. We have choose this method to find out the F external. We have taken a way, we have find out a way to find out this one. And we have seen that if we move this object very slowly, then we can apply then we can find out this work done or this external force very easily, right? So we have to find out the relation between field and potential. So that means we have to calculate potential. So for that we need to calculate the work done. So let us consider that work which is being done to move the object from A to B equals to F external into dx. Now how much is my external force? Minus Q naught E into dx. Now tell me, E dx, this can be written as minus Q naught E dx cos theta, right? Now tell me the direction of E and dx, are they in same direction or opposite direction? See, this is the direction of E and this is the direction of your displacement. You are causing displacement opposite to the direction of electric field. So angle between them is 180 degree. So minus Q naught E dx cos 180 degree can be written. Cos 180 degree is minus 1. So it will create this one plus Q naught E dx. Clear? So that is equals to work done, right? Now what am I doing? I am displacing the object from A to B. So I can write from, I am doing work on a test charge. So this work done is equivalent to higher potential minus lower potential into Q naught E dx. Hope it's clear to you. Work done on the charge. So Q naught V, higher potential minus lower potential equals to Q naught E dx. So this is what? Change in potential. So this can be written as Q naught dV equals to Q naught E dx. Q naught and Q naught get cancelled out from both the sides. So E equals to dV equals to E dx. Right. So this is a relation which we are getting between field and the potential and electric field. Now you see there is a very important consideration. See, this is dx. Okay, this is the direction of dx from point A to B. This is your dx. Okay, when I am bringing the object from infinity to A, this is the direction of displacement. Now if I say with respect to position vector, if I measure the displacement with respect to position vector, so how will I measure the displacement from position vector? From plus Q, if it is being r distance away where I am bringing the charge, from plus Q if it is r distance away. Okay, so position vector is always measured from the test charge, whereas displacement is measured from infinity. So position vector r will be in this direction. Okay, this will be the direction of r. Hence dx, if this is your dx, then this will be the direction of dr. Okay, this displacement which has been caused, if I am measuring or if I am representing displacement with respect to position vector, then from B to A is the direction which is dr, because position vector is measured from the source charge, right, from the charge q, whereas the external displacement dx is measured from infinity to the point where you are bringing it. Or here we can say that this dx is being measured from A to B. So that means x is measured from infinity to the place where you are bringing it. So you can understand that dx and dr, they are opposite to each other. Both are displacement, but they are opposite in direction. So hence it's better to signify with respect to position vector. So if we signify with respect to position vector, we get dv equals to minus E dr, right? This is the relation between electric field and potential, and this is known as negative gradient of electric field. That means I can write dv by dr equals to minus E, right? That means if I move in the direction of electric field, move in the direction of electric field means along the position vector. Okay, from plus q charge, if I move along the direction of the position, along the direction of electric field through the position vector, my potential will keep on decreasing. See, B has more potential than A. If I take another point C here, so A will have more potential than C. So as I move in the direction of electric field, the potential keeps on decreasing. Okay, as I move in the opposite direction of the electric field, the potential keeps on increasing. So negative gradient means when electric field, or as you move in the direction of electric field, what will happen? Your potential will keep on decreasing with the distance. Means if you compare your potential with the position vector, as you move away from the charge or as you move towards the direction of electric field, more you move towards the direction of electric field, the potential at that point will keep on decreasing. Clear? So this is the relation between field and potential. This is something to remember. We will be using this particular relation for other derivations as well. Now, we will derive the expression for potential. So if we find out the potential for an isolated positive charge, we can find out the expression for V. Let us do that. Okay, this is something which is known to us. dV equals to minus E dr, right? Now here, see, I have told you here what I am doing. I am considering A to B, I am moving the object. Now, instead of considering that, right, instead of considering that I am moving the object from A to B, I will consider that this point A is at infinity. So I will be moving the test charge, not an object. I will be moving the test charge from infinity to point B. Okay, I need to move the test charge from infinity to point B. In that case, we will be calculating the potential. So suppose, same thing, same method, we are taking suppose this is the we are taking this much of displacement dr and we are moving the test charge. Okay, now so we are displacing the test charge from infinity to a certain point. So while we integrate, lower limit from infinity to a certain distance r, clear? And here also from infinity to r. Now this dv after integration will be v, and it can be written as vr minus v infinity. This integration, now this e can be written as, we know the electric field, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q if the charge is q. Okay, so q divided by r square dr from infinity to r, isn't it? So Vr minus V infinity equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught from infinity to r dr by r square. So we have to do the integration of this part, right? So Q by 4 pi epsilon naught dr by r square, it is minus 1 by r from infinity to r, minus minus becomes plus q by 4 pi epsilon naught. So this can be written as 1 by r minus 1 by infinity. Okay, now 1 by infinity is 0, q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. Secondly, Vr, this is as Vr minus V infinity. I told you at infinity we assume potential to be 0. So this is Vr. So in general we can write V equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. So for an isolated positive charge, the potential comes to be V equals to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. It's a scalar quantity, so we cannot we don't need to determine the direction, we don't need to need the vectorical form. So this is my ultimate potential, and this is the expression of the potential. Okay, so this is potential for an isolated positive charge. Now these are the cases, the previous cases and this one is the case when we have taken the electric field to be uniform. Now if the electric field is not uniform, in that case, see, as you can see that the electric field is not uniform and we have to displace it from A to B. Okay, we have to displace the test charge from A to B. So we have to cause a displacement. Let us consider that the displacement is dl. Now you say what is known to us. This is what known to us, dv equals to E dr minus E dr, right? Now this is applicable when the electric field is uniform. Now for non-uniform electric field we cannot apply this. So what will we do? We will consider a small elementary portion. And for this small elementary portion, this elementary portion is so small, so we can consider that particularly for this small portion, the electric field is uniform. So hence we can find out the potential for this small portion, and then we will integrate, and then we can find out the net potential V, right? So for this small portion, let us consider that V is the dl is the displacement. So for respect to position vector, dr will be on the opposite direction. Okay, we must measure the position vector from the test charge, right? So dr will be the position vector. So if we integrate, we will get it. Now what is happening? Electric field at each and every point is changing, right? So what are we going to do? We will consider all small elementary displacement. Suppose from here to here we are considering a small elementary displacement. Okay, then from here to here we will consider a small elementary displacement. Here also, and ultimately we will add up all of them. So we will integrate, and hence we will get total potential. But at each and every point, here and here, the electric field is not same, the electric field is not uniform, right? So if we integrate, then V equals to minus integration of E dot dr. This is what is going to come, right? Because electric field at each and every for your each and every elementary displacement, what will happen? The electric field, this electric field and here the electric field is not same. Okay, for this particular small length the electric field is same. So each every time the electric field is changing, and hence the electric field is not constant, so it cannot come outside the integration, right? So this is the case if it is a non-uniform electric field. But this opens us a way to find out electric field from potential. Okay, previously what are we doing? Electric field is known to us, we can calculate potential. This we have understood, that if electric field is known to us, because see in this one also the electric field was known to us, right? We can write Q equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by r square. So this is the electric field which is known to us. We can find out potential from there. But if the reverse is possible, that means electric field is not known to us, but from potential we have to find out the electric field, right? Then what needs to be done? Okay, so see, we know dv equals to minus E vector dot dr vector, right? So that means this dv can be written as electric field is what? Suppose if it's a non-uniform electric field and we are considering a three-dimensional place where we are calculating the electric field. So Ex I cap plus Ey j cap plus Ez k cap. Dr can be written as dx I cap plus dy j cap plus dz k cap, right? So this can be written as minus Ex dx plus Ey dy plus Ez dz equals to dv, right? So according to partial differentiation, del v by del x equals to minus ex, del v by del y equals to minus ey, del v by del z equals to minus ez, isn't it? So this can be written as, we know electric field equals to Ex I cap plus Ey j cap plus Ez k cap. So this can be written as minus del v by del x I cap plus del v by del y j cap plus del v by del z k cap, and hence we can find out the electric field, right? So if potential is known to us, we need to do the derivations, right? Differentiation needs to be done, and hence we can find out Ex, Ey and Ez. Using this we can find out. So if potential is known to us, we can find out the electric field as well. So next day we will calculate potential for dipoles, for different arrangement of dipoles. Thank you, students.